Hey, Larry. Unreal. Here we go. Take two. So I just want to let you guys know here as we're getting ready to start this next round here. Um, I called my internet provider today and I told them that I was having issues. Like I would be on and all of a sudden then it would just kick off. I'm ready for take three. Now, now, now. Let's hope we get through this one with no problems. So I called them, like I said, and they said, well, it looks like everything's working fine because at that particular moment it was. And they said, well, we'll reboot it for you. We'll reboot it. And I said, okay. And they said, so hopefully it should be better. And so we'll see what happens. But I guess not so much. Hey, Sandy. But so we'll do take two here and we'll see how this goes. Oh, well, what are you going to do? So, again, if we have another issue, I'll get back on. So, hopefully, we won't. We'll see what happens. But I don't know, maybe it was a subject topic matter they didn't like so much. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, I want you guys. We're gonna go back to getting on topic here. Oh, the bees are fine. Nope, the bees are fine, Larry. They're doing good. I appreciate you guys coming right back in. Uh, yeah, I may end up doing Starlink. They're not in the area yet. I'm actually signed up to do Starlink. I actually made a deposit for them, but they're not here yet. So once they are, I'll definitely get them. So hopefully that would be better. Solar flares or flares all day too. Oh, okay, Rick. Yeah, it was funny because during the day today, um, it seemed to be working just fine. So you never know. You know what I mean? You just never know. But all right. So oh, they started selling Starlink in Norway. Cool, very cool. So all right. So let's get back on this here. What I want you guys to remember of what happened is a direct result of this pandemic that we just. Uh, oh, here we go again. Thank you. Jeez, what a moron. Oh, good. The troll was back too. How awesome. Thank you, Lady Kicks, for taking care of that. Unbelievable. Yay, he found our second link too. It's a child, guys. I'm telling. So right now, I would ask you, please do not engage that individual because it is a child. Only a child would act that way, and so it's sad that his parents didn't bring him up properly. It really is. So what can you do? 12-year-old. Yeah, I hear you, Don. Probably 12 to 16 is my guess in that range. So you know, but so here's so fast says yeah, a lot of business went out of business in Massachusetts. Some people sued getting their jobs back with pay who refused to get the jab. Okay, well that's good that they got. Hopefully that went through and they got back pay and everything else and got their jobs back. But the problem is this, and I want you to remember, is a direct result of this whole thing with the pandemic. You had a lot of small businesses close, out of business, close their doors up. They employed a very few number of people and they were forced to close. So here's a question that I would have. All right. And this is weird. I know this is a weird question. And what's the correlation? I don't know. Because, like somebody said in the first stream that we were doing, liquor stores were allowed to stay open as well, right? So if you owned a liquor store, you were good to go. You were considered essential. But if you were a member of a gym, no, 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 you can't go work out of the gym and try to be healthy. Why would we allow that? Right? Oh yeah, and the weed shops were open as well, right? So you can't go to the gym and work out to try to be healthy, but you can go get your liquor so you can go home, be pissed off that you're not able to work, that your wife is with you all the time, that the kids are driving you nuts, and so you're going to drink heavily and then beat on your wife and your kids. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea to me. I think that works wonderfully. I don't get it. I'm going to tell you what, I just don't get it. You know, went outside with no mask to work out. Well, it was so. I'm going to tell you, like I said, to me, the most and this is strictly, again, guys, this is my opinion, okay? The most insane thing to me was when you would see somebody in their car by themselves, in their car with that on their face. I never could understand it. I was like, "Oh, do they have like a mental disorder? They're in their car, the windows are up." You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, the whole thing was like the Twilight Zone. But again, remember, I want you guys, please don't ever forget what happened, okay? Please don't ever forget what happened. Um, I worked through the whole thing, never got a $1,200 rebate, nothing. I never did either, Fast Eddie. I never got nothing. I didn't get anything from them. So I'm with you on that. But you had a situation where the mental health of our kids was deteriorated, okay? You want to get this moron out of here again, please? Thank you very much. Uh, our kids were affected mentally, physically, weren't able to be outside to be able to be active. Now they're having to sit in their house, and not do anything, and they instilled fear in our children, which was wrong in my opinion. Okay, but these kids were scared to death. And I told you guys a situation that happened when, um, Heather and I were out. We were out. We were in a small town called Chi, New York. They got an ice cream place there, and we went out for a ride on the motorcycle. And we had stopped there, and we were getting an ice cream. And I'll never forget this. And I probably should have said nothing. In hindsight, I probably should have said nothing, but I couldn't help myself. Okay, I just couldn't help myself. So here's the dad and the little girl, and the little girl's maybe 6 years old, six maybe. Okay, because I think she was definitely probably around 6 years old. Uh, so they got gas, and they're getting ready to walk into the gas station to pay for their gas or get whatever else they were going to get. And the little girl goes, Daddy, we don't have our mask on." So they turn around and they go back to their car to get their masks. They put them on, and as they're walking back in, I said, "Boy, the brainwashing runs deep in these kids, doesn't it?" Oh, he did not like that at all. And if I remember correctly, and I know I did this before, and I talked, he looked at me and he said, "You shut your mouth," like that, right? And I told him to f himself, because I don't care. And then he said "f you" to me, right? And I felt bad afterwards, and I will tell you why. When they came back out, he never looked at me at all. He just blinders and looking straight ahead, walking to his car. Um, and The little girl was turning around and looking at me, and I felt bad about that. I will tell you that right now. To this day, that I felt bad about. But the guy, your kids are being brainwashed in school, and that's happening. Think about this, guys. Okay, let's think about this. Let's look at Common Core math. Common Core math. That is the stupidest, most moronic thing I think I have ever seen. And this is what they're teaching our kids today. They're not teaching them how to do cursive anymore, right? They don't teach kids cursive anymore. Half these kids couldn't read a clock on the wall at school because they don't know how. You know what I mean? It's insanity. It's insanity. Thank you, Lady Kicks, for being right on top of everything. I appreciate that. But this is what has been going on. It's a dumbing down of our society. And it's like I can't read cursive anymore either. It's just, but you got to remember, our Constitution is written in cursive. If these kids can't read cursive or write in cursive, they won't even be able to read the Constitution. It's insane. It is insane. In the amount of jobs that were lost that are never coming back, right? They will be no more lockdowns. They can kiss my axe. Yeah, I hear you, Free Hawk. But there'll be the next thing. See, there's never fear. There will be the next thing that they push, and the majority of people, whatever it may be, will go right along. get right on the train, get right on the bus, whatever they're told to do. You know, a lot of young athletes now use initials for their signature. That's scary. That is scary. Unbelievable. I did. Asif just made a great point. He said there's a rumor of more lockdowns with a new strain. I heard about this too. I just read an article today where it was saying that it's coming back, and we're not nothing to panic about yet, but it's making a comeback. They weren't allowed to go out at night except to walk with a dog. I saw a woman go out with her spouse with a leash. Oh my God, that's too funny. That's actually very funny. But yeah, it's insanity, and people just you okay. Well, I'll give you a great example. Look at Australia, okay? And I love Australian people, so don't throw me under a bus for saying anything bad about Australian people. But the government down there went absolutely bananas. They did it here in the United States too. If you see a neighbor, they had hotlines, guys. New York City had a hotline like this. Ed, I'm sorry for ruining your last two lines. Oh, please. You're an idiot. You're not sorry. You didn't ruin them because you're a moron. But thank you for giving me $2. I appreciate that. Unbelievable. The funny thing is they think that they're ruining it, but they're not, because they just get shown what a moron they truly are. So, but again, so let's talk about there was numbers, and I knew it happened a lot in Australia, and I knew they were doing it in New York City, where they were encouraging you. Geez, does that sound familiar somewhere? What that was done before? Tell on your neighbors if they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Oh, again, yes, that was Nazi Germany. Wow, imagine that. Nazi Germany encouraged people to rat on their neighbors if they were not complying and doing what they were told, following whatever narrative that had been pushed out in front of you, right? So here we had, and New York City is a great example, guys, right? Great example. They had hotlines set up that here's the number you call and tell on people if they're doing these things that they shouldn't be doing to try to get people in trouble, you know? I think about all the people that lost their livelihood. I mean, think about if you had a small business, okay, and you worked your whole life and you had a good clientele because people liked the product that you were doing, bakery or whatever the case may be. And then my liberal sister-in-law never followed what she narked on others for. Oh, of course, that goes with the thing as well. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Yeah, if you offer an incentive to rat, hook, line, and sinker, exactly. And there's a lot of people like that. Well, I think everybody in the neighborhood, in their neighborhood, right? If you live in a neighborhood, you have a busybody in your neighborhood, right? You got that one person, be it male or female, that's in everybody's business, is watching. They're like peeking out the window to see what's going on. There's always those type of people wherever you are, always. And it's just crazy. And I'm glad I was where I was when that whole thing went down, because I would, like I said, I just did what I did. I still took care of my business. I went where I wanted to go. If I went into a business and they said, unless you have that on, I'm not serving you, then I would go, well, okay, bye. And I would leave. Wasn't playing that game. I want you to think about this, and I want you to, again. So this is the level of insanity. So we would all go to the grocery store to get our groceries, right? Got another moron there. If you would take care of that, thank you very much. Uh, Same moron. I'm sorry. It's the same more. It's only one moron. Thank you so much for taking the time to make all these fake accounts so that you could come in here and be an idiot. It's very nice. I'm glad you wasted your time. So anyway, please ignore. I'm not going to acknowledge anymore. Just moderators, please just take care of when you see it. Just take care of it, and thank you. 'Cause that's what they want. They want the attention, which is kind of sad. Um, but yeah, he's donating to the algorithm. You're right, Karen. It all helps, I guess, right? Too funny. But you had this situation that was going on, and people were suffering needlessly, in my opinion. You had suicides were up. Look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Here's another number that doesn't lie. Okay. Now I'm going to make this number up because I don't know what the actual number is, but let's say in a given year, right? 200 or 2.5 million people died in the US. So in 2008, 2.5 million people died. 2009, 2.5 million people died. The numbers really don't change that much, right? And there's usually cause of death is cancer, heart attack, stroke, natural death, whatever the case may be. But here's the interesting thing that I don't think a lot of people paid attention to. Now you would think with a pandemic engulfing the country, it wouldn't be 2.5 million people for 2020 and 2021. And again, I don't know what the exact number is, but you wouldn't think it would. You would think it would be in this great big spike, right? Because they told you what over 1 million people died as a direct result from the pandemic, right? Isn't that the numbers they gave us? Over 1 million people died. But here's the weird thing: the numbers year to year didn't change. The same percentage of people died. There was no great big spike up. Now, I would like somebody to explain that to me, but here's the weird thing. Here's the weird thing. People dying of cancer was down, people dying of strokes was down, people dying of heart attacks was down. That's weird. That doesn't correlate. That doesn't make sense. Old people dying of normal flu system. But oh, and then the flu was like non-existent too. Remember that too, right? None of that was. It was everything was COVID, 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 COVID. Interesting. So, but you know, it's if you pay attention to these things, and like I said again, are they going to give you though that information? They're not going to share that with you. Oh wow, the same percentage of people died the year of this pandemic is the year before the pandemic, but we're going to tell you that all these deaths were attributed right to this one thing. I find it interesting. Yeah, dead people getting elected to office. That's always a fun thing too. Yes, and that's been happening. You got the guy in Pennsylvania that was dead, and he was elected, and they all knew he was dead. Why do you vote for a dead guy? That doesn't make any sense to me. Crazy, just absolutely crazy. And again, people that had questions, right? People that questioned anything. And what did we get told? I want you to remember this, okay? What did we get told? And again, guys, I'm sharing zero false information, so they cannot say I'm sharing false information. I'm sharing factual information if you look it up. These different deaths were down, but the percentage really didn't change year over year. That's a fact. If you look it up, you will see that as a fact. Okay. But here's the thing is most people don't look up squat. Most people don't look up anything. So, I want you to also think about this. Older people in nursing homes. Okay. I want you to think about this. The only thing they have to look forward to, the only thing a lot of those folks have to look forward to are their loved ones coming to visit them. If they do, because I've worked plenty of nursing homes, folks, and I can tell you right now, the majority of those folks, the majority, I'm going to say it again, the majority of their folks don't have anybody coming to see them because they don't care. Okay, that's a fact. Seen it year after year after year. It was disgusting to me. And then there was 2 times a year. 2 times a year. Oh, we put on the big display and we love you, mom, and we love you, dad, because it's Easter and it's Christmas, right? Disgusting. Those people made me sick because I remember thinking to and I never said anything when I was, there because you can't, okay? But I used to think to myself, where are you the rest of the year? Why aren't you coming to visit your loved one the rest of the year? Why put on the big display like you give a crap at Christmas and, then the rest of the time you don't? What are we at? 316 in the chat, guys. We're at 108 on the thumbs up. Again, if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate it. Also, it makes a difference with the algorithms as well. Okay, so thank you for that. Also, again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Please hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you. The problem is taking all these old folks, you're isolating them in their rooms. They can't even socialize with their fellow people that are in that nursing home. And there was always activities that they could partake in. Not during that time. They were locked in their rooms. Depression. A lot of them just went, okay, I give up. That's it. You know what I mean? Sad. Very, very, very sad. And but these things happen. These things absolutely happen. So crazy, just absolutely crazy. And you know what? I don't know. I just going back to what I was going to say here a little while ago because I get distracted and I know I do. Anybody that had questions, like I said, if you questioned anything, they would say, "Trust the science. Trust the science." What are they saying about that now? Here's what I find interesting. A lot of things that a lot of us here on YouTube saying early on that we were touted as calling misinformation, and we were told that we were not being truthful and we were giving misinformation, and we got strikes. I got strikes, right? Later on down the road, information that we were sharing at that time true turned out to be factual. Was I ever given money back from YouTube because they gave me that strike? Was I compensated? Absolutely not. Did I ever get an apology from YouTube saying, "Hey, you know what? We realized that we gave you two strikes in two different time frames because we said you were giving false information or misinformation." We did I ever get an apology for that? Nope. Right? And then we were not allowed to talk about it because if we did, we would be punished on YouTube. So, you know, Asif said conspiracy theories were true in the end. A lot of them were, Asif. A lot of them were. So, and the thing is, it's like when they say trust the science, isn't it our job? Isn't it our job to question the science, right? And I don't know. Like I said again, biggest concern that I had personally, right? I don't consider myself an anti-vaxxer by any stretch of the imagination. But when you have an emergency release thing brought out for the public to take when there has been zero long-term study on XYZ product, I have a concern about that. It is not, you look at the number of things that have been brought out that they've put out in the public that they said, oh, this is tested, it's good, it's great, you're good to go. And then down the road, the wire mesh thing, remember that one? If the live stream says conspiracy, you know it's a fact. Right, exactly. That's funny, Asif. Thank you very much, and thank you for the donation as well. Um, you know, again, it's just the whole thing is just crazy to me. The whole thing is crazy. But we should always question things. Always question things. And and just so anybody knows, anybody that took this, right? You are the long-term study. Just so you know. And if there are side effects down the road that, lo and behold, oops, Big Pharma says, I'm sorry, but you can't sue us because we have it in the contract with the government giving out this product that you are not allowed to sue. Where is the standing behind your product? Where's that? Right? Where's that? So craziness, guys. Just absolutely craziness. Sad, to be honest with you. Very, very sad. So, but something to think about. If they have a public official being seen taking a shot on TV, forget it. Yeah, well, I always remember um, the one that they had the nurse that took it on TV, and then she passed out like right afterwards. Now I don't know if this is 100% true, but I heard that she died. Now I don't know if that's 100% true. I can't confirm that, but I did hear that that nurse died. So yeah, Bill Gates approved. The one that collapsed, I heard she died too. Dawn said, "Yeah," and I, like I said, I can't confirm that, so I don't want to say that she did and have it be the other way around because I don't know. All I know is that she took it and she passed out like right afterwards. So, but Karen says, "Who really thinks that the ADM took this?" Yeah, I don't know, Karen. Who knows? Who knows? But like I said, I don't have faith in the system, um, especially what happened to my son. Okay, and I know that the narrative is put out there differently, but I saw what happened to my child, saw it with my own eyes, and you can't tell me uh, that it was this, that, or he had it the whole time. You know, I ain't buying it. I saw what happened to him. Saw what happened to him. So, you know, it's just when you have a little boy, all right, when you have a little boy and a little girl, like I had my twins, normal, healthy 2 year olds, completely healthy. Eddie was talking before his sister. You could tell, you could tell they were both really smart right from the very beginning. And then they went in and they got their 2 year old, right? And literally, folks, and like I said, I, I'm not saying that this was what it was. I'm not saying that it wasn't, okay? But I found it real interesting that right after that, it was like somebody turned a light switch off on my kid. And then at 2.5, he was diagnosed with autism. So, you know, I'm not trying to spread false information. I'm not telling you not to do this or not to do that or that this caused this or this caused that. That's not what I'm saying. I am just sharing with you what I experienced as a father with my child. Okay. That's what I know. That's what I saw. Okay. So think whatever you want to think. Perfectly fine. I know what I know. And the saddest part is, this I can't say on here that you know that I know that this is the reason that my son is this way. I can't say that because I will get an absolute strike if I did that. So I can't even say that, which to me again is disgusting, and that's censorship as well. Am I not entitled to my observation? First of all, as a medical professional, I've been in this field forever and a day, so I kind of know what I'm talking about when I see things. You know, unbelievable. But again, I don't want to get into that. By the way, somebody asked, "How's Eddie doing?" Eddie's doing well. He is, he's just living his life. Um, Eddie will never have a job. Eddie will never. He couldn't have a job. He wouldn't be able to handle that. He's high functioning. Of that, I am unbelievably grateful. So he can bathe himself, he can feed himself, in those type of things. But a lot of the issues that go along with autism, he has. He don't like physical contact. You know, there's a lot of things with that. So it's just. I try not to dwell on it because it really does piss me off. It really does piss me off, which is sad. But and the worst part is there's not a freaking thing um, you can do about it. And then if you want your kid to be in public school, or this, that, or the other thing, yep, he's still playing guitar, Troy. Yep, he enjoys playing guitar, which is great. Um, I don't see him as much as I would love to. I'll be honest with you. I miss the kid. He's difficult. I ain't gonna lie. He is a difficult young man to deal with, but he's my boy. So that's just the way it is. But it's I've seen a 30-year-old become a paraplegic after the flu vaccine. Wow. Yeah. Well, like I said, people can choose to do what they want to do, and that's perfectly fine. Um, I just personally, they'll be sticking nothing else in me. So, and I will encourage everyone. So, you know, we have this weird thing called an immune system. We're supposed to get sick. Those that are compromised, that have issues, they're supposed to die when they're supposed to die. That's what happens, you know, and so that's just my take on it, guys. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even gone down that road because now it's just like it's in my head, and we'll move on here. Let's do egg count time right now. We were off just for a little bit there, so we'll try to stay back on a normal schedule here for the rest of this. So, how many eggs and yes or no for Miss Thickneck today, guys? So, I'll let you get your guesses in here, and we will go from there. So, anyway, again, what do we at 373 in the chat? We got 157 thumbs up at this point. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you for that. Also, it really does make a big difference with the algorithms as well, so I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well, and thank you very much. So, if you had the same guess as Nikki's Nook with 5 eggs today, and yes for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. So, congratulations to Nikki's Nook. You are the winner of nothing but bragging rights until the next live stream. So, let's move on with what we were talking about, the destruction of the middle class. So, mission accomplished with destroying small businesses that will never come back. Correct? That's been done. We already seen it. It's happened. It's done. So, what happens next? Cost of living goes through the roof. Cost of food becomes astronomical. The price of beef is ridiculous to try to do that. Try to eat meat. Which we are a meat eating country. If you don't want to eat meat, then don't. That's fine. But don't tell me I have to eat the bugs that you like to eat the bugs. It's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. Me personally, I'd rather eat chicken. I like chicken. That's what I enjoy. But so you have high cost of fuel. I mean, look what fuel's done. Fuel's on the way back up again. Imagine that. They bring it down. Oh, they're making it so much better. And here's what I always thought was interesting. I want you to remember this. So somebody had posted what the gas was when Trump was in office, and then you had Biden get into office, and gas went up to like $5 a gallon, right? And in some places, it's still like California. I know they're still extremely high in California, and on the West Coast there, those guys been getting screwed forever and a day. But then gas got brought down to about 320, and Biden was like, on TV taking credit. Oh, look at I brought gas prices down. No, you didn't, you idiot. No, you didn't. I mean, in New York, before he came into office, we were paying 220 a gallon for gas. So you brought it back down to 320. That's not where it was before. You didn't bring gas prices down. You brought it back down to a level where the wealthy people can still make a ton of money. That's what you did, and you make like you're gonna. Wish it could 529 today. I saw in Western Washington. Yeah, I know Washington, California. You guys are getting screwed out there, which I just don't get that either. I went to California in 2007. It was 450. Yeah, when I went a couple of years ago, California was extremely high then. We got any of the California people in here can tell me where we're at now? What's the price in California right now? Anybody on here from California? Viking Pepper says $5 is cheap, over $10 in Norway now. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, the first day he was in office, he shut down the pipeline. That's a fact. That is a fact. Anybody in California can tell me what your price of gas is out there. I know we got people from California that watch the stream. 578 for premium. Wow, live your life. Thank you for sharing that. That's nuts. That's nuts. Uh, I live in a small northern California town, 489 a gallon. 509 in Seattle. That's crazy. I know what back in New York, my daughter was telling me it was 3.99 a gallon up there. So somebody else is saying 569 out in California. That's crazy. 80K man is 409 in Northern Adirondacks up in New York. Yep. Okay. Yukima, Washington's 445. 589 is about average in California. Life Force is saying, okay. Yeah, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. I know here, I just saw, like, I have a place that I go where it's actually cheaper than everywhere else. And I paid 359 now. It used to be 329. The other stores are up to 379 or 389. So crazy. And it's just going back up again. And they're not giving any reason for it, you know. Not giving any reason for it. They have excuses. Everything is an excuse. It's all BS. It's all manipulation. And that's just something that's been going on forever and a day too. Look at what they did with eggs, guys. All right, they had to call. And I want you to think about this. All right, I want you to think about the reality of how many chickens we have in the United States. Just chickens. How many chickens? And because they had to cull what, 500,000? They culled 500,000 chickens. Maybe was it that number? I don't know what the exact number was. Okay, but let's say it was 500,000 chickens that they had to cull because of bird flu or whatever they were saying, whatever the infection was. Eggs went crazy. Now they've come back down. They've come back down, but you know, absolutely nuts. 7.94 a gallon in Belgium. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. That's crazy. No wonder you guys all drive those little cars over there. You gotta. You couldn't afford to drive anything that actually sucked gas. That's crazy. $1.70 a liter in southern Ontario. And is what? There's 4 liters in a gallon. Is that right, Shirley? If I'm not mistaken, is 4 liters in a gallon? Or it's like three and a half, something like that. Three and a half. Okay. See, I knew it was one. I knew it was like. Thank you. But yeah, it's just, it's gotten out of control again. You know. Yep. Right. You will eat the bugs and own nothing like it. That's funny. But yeah, it's gotten nuts, guys. I mean, it's gotten nuts, and it's only going to get worse. That's the reality. The reality is it's getting worse, and so they're getting rid of the middle class. There's not going to be a middle class. There's going to be your rich, and the rest of us are going to be poor. Period. End of story. Uh, you look at they're taxing people to death in this country. Raising your property values so they can raise your taxes to get extort more money out of you. I mean, that's exactly what that is. That's extortion. And if you ask in a union contract to tie in inflation, you will be laughed away from the negotiations. Yeah, I can imagine. Hey, Asif, I'll put the bugs in my Mr. Fusion and my DeLorean. There you go. That's funny. Thank you very much for the donation, and thank you for the comment as well. But I can remember a time, realistically, when only you had to have one income coming into a house to support that house. And now you have to have two incomes coming in. And that's pretty much been going on. The two incomes has pretty much been going on since the 80s. That's really the late 70s, early 80s is when you started seeing, mom going back to work or going back to work part time and stuff like that. The days of one person doing it all, it's those days are not really here anymore. We did it. My wife and I did it, but I worked like ridiculous hours forever and a day to do that. But to me, it was important that my kids be raised by my wife, while I was working. So you call 911 for an ambulance, you'll get a bill from $700 to $800 to cover the gas. Oh my god! I know they charge ridiculous amounts of money to take you in an ambulance now if you don't have insurance. So you know what I mean. So what happens now? Mom and dad have to work, right? So you put your kids in daycare. So now your kids are being raised by somebody else, and maybe you put them into preschool at 4. So it's just, and then in school, all school is realistically is indoctrination. They want you to conform, do as you're told, don't cause any problems. Probably why I didn't do well in school, because I was not a conformist. I didn't do what I was told. I didn't play the game the way that they wanted me to play. So, I was one of those kids. I was one of those throwaway kids that they just passed on because they wanted they wanted, to just get me out of there. Because I just, I'll tell you a funny story, guys. And I probably have shared this before, but I'm going to share this one again real quick. I remember being in school, and the only homework that I would do was math because I liked math. Really enjoyed math. I found it fascinating and interesting and challenging. So I did really well in math. Um, so I can remember one of my teachers said, "Ed, did you do your homework?" And I went, "No." She goes, "Are you going to do it?" And I went, "No." And she goes, "Well, what if I said I was going to call your mom?" And I laughed at her. I said, "She ain't going to make me do it either." What do you do with a kid like that? You can't threaten me with my parents because my parents ain't going to make me do it. It's not going to happen. There's nothing that my mother could have done to make me do my homework. Wasn't going to happen. Um, you know, so by that point, I was out, doing my own thing, you know, hanging out with my friends, getting hammered. It was like, yeah, I'm going to do homework. Yeah, I don't think so, but too funny. So I very, very did very well and graduated near the bottom of my class. Because what are you going to do? What are you going to do with a kid like that? They don't want to keep you. They don't want to keep holding you back, right? They don't want to hold you back. So and the worst part was I wasn't a dummy. I wasn't stupid. I just didn't care. When I went back to school after I was out of high school, when I went back to school to get my nursing degree, you know, 10 years later, then I wanted to do it, and I excelled at it, and I did very, very well. And I just wouldn't play their games. I wouldn't do it. And I had an interesting childhood, so I'll just leave it like that. I had a very interesting childhood. So yeah, I was the last high school I went to. They were really into, like, all the guys were Nikes. Okay, they all had short hair. They all did their thing like that, and they had their main clique of what they did. If you were not born and raised in that town, you were never accepted. So I went to that school for 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And I hung out with other people who were transplants, like I was a transplant. I also hung out with the drinkers. I was a drinker, and so I had long hair. I wore boots every day and jeans. If it was 100 degrees out, I had boots and jeans on. That, well, nothing's really changed with that, right? But it was just I wasn't going to be like everybody else, so I wouldn't even buy Nikes. I always bought different off-brand sneakers for gym class because I wasn't going to be like them. I didn't want to be like them. So I've always been that rebellious, and but then as you get a little bit older, you realize you're beating your head against a wall. Realistically, you know, you need to see my high school pictures. I'll have to pull one of them out. When I went to my 30-year reunion. So when I went to my 30-year reunion, they gave you the lariat that you put around your neck and you hang out, and it's got your picture of what you looked like when you graduated from high school. So actually, next year will be my 40-year reunion, and I'm not missing it. I can't wait. Can't wait to go back. Um, but Yeah, I haven't had hair in more than 20 years. So I've been shaving my head for more than 20 years. So, but so, people were, and I had my goatee was long like this right now when I went to my 30-year reunion. I had my goatee was long. I didn't have the beard on the sides. I had that all shaved, but I had the long goatee. And, and I had my head shaved. And so I had people come up to me. I'll never forget. It was so funny. The one guy comes up to me and he, like, grabs my lariat and he looks at it and he goes, "Holy crap." He goes, "You're a big boy now." And I said, "Well, I'm not in high school no more, because I graduated high school at 142 pounds, So, 30 years later and I'm 225. Yeah, I'm not a little boy anymore, not a little skinny, scrawny kid, you know. And so it's that part's kind of funny. That's kind of part of fun. We'll get that. But I enjoyed going back to the reunion and seeing people, and it was definitely enjoyable. But it's weird because I will tell you, this is what I found when I went. I didn't go to the 10-year reunion, but I went to the 20 and I went to the 30-year reunion. At the 20-year reunion, a lot of people were still playing those games like in high school. I could see that the clickiness still 20 years out of high school. And I'd be like, really? 30 years out of high school, it had changed. I think it was because of the maturity, maybe for a lot of people. So it was a different atmosphere for the 30-year reunion. So, like I said, next year will be the 40-year reunion, and I'm actually looking forward to that. I think it'll be very interesting to go to that one. So, and you find out who's still with us, who's not here anymore. We've lost a few people through the years. Obviously, it happens. So I had one of the sweetest girls in high school, just wonderful, wonderful girl. She died at like 27 because of cancer. But she was just like she was one of those people that got along with everybody and was just a nice, nice human being. So when I heard that she had passed, it was, that was sad. That was sad. So, it's just, but again, it's, what are you going to do? So I went to my 50th. Not too many people were there. Sad, Lana. Just, yeah. Well, you get up to the 50th anniversary, how many are left? I mean, realistically. So, but Edie came in and said, lost 8 out of my class. Yeah, it happens. I mean, we had one guy, uh, 20 years old, got in a car accident, got killed in a car accident. So, I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know. Had another kid, I think he was 21, suicide. So, and that was over a woman. 21 years old, he got broken up with his woman and he killed himself because of it. It's very sad, But anyway, what do you do? That's all part of the thing. So let's go ahead. I know we're behind here now. Of course, imagine that. We're gonna go ahead and do some shout outs. See, because I'm off on. I'm looking at the time up here, and we're on the second take. So, all right, let's do some shout outs here, guys. We're at 334 in the chat, got a 211 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you ahead of time. It really does make a huge, huge difference with the algorithms, so I thank you for that reason as well. We'll start out with Heavenly Hills Homestead, a newer channel. They're growing. He does a lot of vegetables, growing vegetables, giant vegetables and stuff. So definitely check him out. You have Icky Can up in Canada, real good guy up there as well. Angry Prepper, that's Jason down in New York City. There is Alaska Prepper, which is Rudy. Excuse me, I like Rudy as well. There is Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, two different channels, same guy. Really amazing to watch him build and do what he's doing up in Canada. There is Demcad, like him a lot as well. There is Corporal's Corner. You have Bjorn Hansen. There is 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. There is Bizarriza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles. Really interesting story there as well. You have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. There is Magic Prepper, and he is in North Dakota. Then there's Wranglestar, that's Cody. A lot of good information on his channel as well, so definitely check him out. There's Red Poppy Ranch. You have Survival Lily. She's over in Europe, so another one to keep an eye on. There is Kyle's Cabin. with Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota doing their thing up there. There is Bush Radical, Girl in the Woods, husband wife team, two different channels. Definitely fun to watch them as well. You have Green Greg's. I like Green Greg's a lot as well. There is Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. There is Gray Man Prepping. You have St. Bernard Acres with Joe. There's Doug Stacy. They've been around a long time. Really good channel. Definitely check them out as well. You have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. A nice young couple down there living off grid. You have the Green Dream Project in Arizona, living in the desert, showing you how it's done to do that out there. There's Camping with Steve. Steve Wallace does stealth camping up in Canada. There's Bush Doctors. There is the Needy Homesteader to the Swamp. He's been around a long time as well. Unbelievable builder as well. There is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond is a great guy. A lot of respect for him. Very, very smart. Definitely listen to what he has to say. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer telling you everything that's going on out in space. Really cool to watch that. Bear Independent, the Uneducated Economist. You have Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of Palma. There is Mary Greeley News. She gives you all the latest of what's going on with Yellowstone and everything with that. There is Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. There's Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall's a great guy, very passionate about the weather, but he gives back to the community in a huge, huge way as well. So definitely go show him some support. Then you have Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand. Says it like it is, lets you make your own decision, doesn't tell you what to think, and I like that. Deep South Homestead, another very family friendly oriented channel. Definitely check them out as well. You have the Outsider up in Maine doing his thing up there. Really cool watching him build his home that he's been building in the middle of the woods out there. You have the Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's, who shows you how to live like it's the 1800s. I think that's good information. I think we should be paying attention to that. You have the Prepared Mind. There's Pinball Preparedness, who is down in Tennessee. East Tennessee Preparedness, the Economic Ninja, and last but not least, Little House Off Gritty. A lot of good channels out there. Uh, I think that we should be supporting each other, so I think it's important. That's why I do the shout outs. Again, you guys will put other ones in the chat as well, which is perfectly fine. I can't give a shout out to everybody. It just doesn't work. I don't have enough time. So I do the ones that I do, and that's it. But again, we're a small niche community. I think we should be supporting each other, and I think it's important that we do so. So, anyway, but going back here, talking about what we've been talking about, the destruction of the middle class has been going on for quite some time, and they're amping it up big time. What happened over the last couple of years is definitely a huge indication of that. You see the results of what happened because of that. You know, I have to laugh when I keep hearing, oh, the economy is doing great and it's doing well and it's getting so much better. But everybody that I talk to, right? Everybody that I talk to says things are getting worse. It's getting harder. It's getting more difficult to keep my head above water. So I'm going to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to the people that are, again, given here's your script, read this information because this is what we want, the public to think. But anybody that oh yeah, Jordan Peterson. I like Jordan Peterson as well. I actually listen to him quite a bit, and he makes a tremendous amount of sense. And because he does, and because he speaks truthfully, they've been on this thing to take away his license up in Canada, and he's been attacked viciously, verbally, and his reputation and everything else. And that's another thing, guys. That's another thing that goes back to that Nazi Germany thing. Anybody that goes against what the accepted narrative is, you're the bad guy. You're wrong. We're going to punish you. We're going to, shut you down so you can't say anything. And that happens a lot. It's unfortunately, you know. Um, again, as we move forward, I was reading something today, and again, some things I read, I go, man, okay, I could see that happening. Other things I read, I go, I don't know. But I was reading something today that they were talking about a total, like a 10-day blackout where your phones wouldn't work, where your internet would be down, and you would have no way of communicating with other people. Now, I'm going to give you some advice right now, okay? If that were to happen, and I'm not saying it's going to, and I'm not saying that it's not going to. Hey, Troy, thank you very much for the donation. I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. If that were to happen, I'm going to encourage you all to get to your bug out locations as quickly as you possibly can in that type of scenario. Because when things come back on, if you will, right? If your phones came back on and then the internet came back on and television came back on, I think we would be living in a different world. Okay. Yep, Ed, that will happen because they want to test to see how we react. Could be, but I think it's a good opportunity to get away from, you know, if that were to happen, it's time to get out of Dodge for a while, take that little vacation. And if it's a false flag and nothing comes of it, then great. But if it's the other way around, it's time to get to where you need to get to. You know what I mean? So, but so it's just I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But that's we have to just be prepared for whatever may come. We don't know what's going to come, and that's all we can do. We can just take care of what we can take care of, and that's it. You know. I love the distractions. It's humorous. Yeah, well, it's always something. That is for sure. Oh, JJ just put up 10 Days of Darkness. He just put the link up, guys. If you want to check that out, JJ just put that link up. Like I said, I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. But if it does, and there's total blackout for communications with television other than what they're going to put up there for an emergency broadcast or whatever the case may be. Nikki's Nook said our electric bill was over 400 this past month, and it's never been that high. You know, think about how bad it'll be this winter. Think about how bad it's going to be this winter. So, let's do this. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? Where is everybody from? We got Melbourne, Australia with Philip in the house. Good day, Philip. Omaha, Nebraska with Larry. Franklin County, Ohio. Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house. Kit in the west coast of Florida. Lady Kicks in Arkansas. Montreal, Quebec, Canada with Daniel. Edgewater, Florida. BC, Canada with Janet in the house. The UP of Michigan with Dawn. Brad in Arkansas. We got Belgium in the house. Glad to have you here. We have Round Rock, Texas with Sandy. Campbell, Missouri with Antonio. Saint something Quebec. So I'm sorry I didn't get that second part of that. County, Arizona with Codster. Waterloo, New York, Aaron. Utica, Washington with Jill. Missouri and the Ozarks with Delbert. Troutman, North Carolina with Troy. East Central Illinois with Lana. West Central Ohio with Dale. Palm Beach, Florida with Nancy. Bricken, Pennsylvania. Honolulu, Hawaii with Alex. And let's see, what else do we have here? Cape Cod, Mass. So again, just with the names that I've read off, we got Mud Creek, Ohio, West Central Illinois, Mesquite, Texas, Brent, New York with Mark, Trenton, Florida. We got Virginia in the house, Lefty from North Huntington, Pennsylvania. He had Numbskull, Florida, right, with JJ. How's the head feeling, JJ? Feeling any better? And are you home yet? We got Northeast Kentucky with Don. So again, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We are the ones that are awake. We're the ones that can make a big difference. We're not woke. We are awake. Uh, Try to help people now as much as we can, and when the time comes, we try to help them even more then, because they're going to need us then, and they're going to look for help then. So definitely, pay attention to that. Numb, and yes, I'm home now. Cool, man. I'm glad you're home. Well, if it's numb, it means you're feeling it, so that's a good thing, I guess. If there was nothing, that would not be a good thing. I can tell you right now, Jay, from personal experience, I have spots on my back where they did my surgery. I have no feeling in those certain areas of my back. They cut the nerves are gone, and there's nothing there. I feel nothing in those certain spots anymore. So that's kind of a weird thing, too. But anyway, guys, um, you know, it's we're a huge network of people. And we really truly can make a difference, and I think we should try if we can. I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job. Well, how many was it tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Was it like 4 times with the idiot tonight? I think that is a cement mixer in my yard. Yes, that's going to be utilized for the bunker. So I lost count, Lady K. All right. Oh, somebody said it was 5. Okay. But thank you guys for doing what you're doing, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Keeping on top of that, so I don't have to worry about that. Just playing their little games. That's all they can do. But yeah, we got the 2 cement mixers here now that we're going to be utilizing with the bunker build, and so that's where we're at with that. So anyway, I want to thank all you guys for being here too. It really makes it a lot more fun with everybody here joining in, being part of this. 4 to 5. Well, it's you say trolls, but JJ, really, it's 1. Oh, there he's back here one more time. Well, now it makes it 6. How wonderful. JJ, you want to take care of that, please, and thank you. Unbelievable. So, speak of the angels and hear their wings flutter. So anyway, guys, remember we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. Oh, we're looking for 250. We 3 more guys, 3 more thumbs up to hit 250. Let's get that just because why not? They wanted to say goodbye and good night. Yeah, right. No, it's a little boy, Lana. It's a little boy, getting his jollies. So that's all that is. Because mommy hasn't caught him yet, and so that's part of the problem. So anyway, again, we are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we truly will be in much, much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. That's important to do that, and so let's make sure we try to do that. Also, remember, guys, to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD. Step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from achieving your goals is you. That's it, guys. Stay positive. Stay away from negative people telling you what you can't accomplish. They have no life like that one individual. It's very sad. We have to feel sorry for that person. That's the only thing we can have for them is pity, because they're pathetic, and that's exactly how it goes. So keep prepping. Have a great weekend, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now, and we did 253. Cool. All right, we'll see you.